In the modern world, happiness has become an obsession. Entire industries are built around selling comfort, pleasure, and excitement. Advertisements promise fulfillment through possessions. Social platforms display endless images of success, beauty, and satisfaction. Yet despite all of this, dissatisfaction remains widespread. Anxiety rises, restlessness grows, and a quiet sense of emptiness appears even in moments of apparent success. This contradiction between abundance and unhappiness is not new. More than 2 centuries ago, the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer described this exact pattern with striking clarity. His philosophy offered a bold and uncomfortable claim: life itself is structured around desire, and desire inevitably produces suffering. According to Schopenhauer, the foundation of human existence is not reason, not logic, and not happiness, but something deeper and more powerful. He called it the will to live, a blind force that drives every action, every ambition, and every movement of life. This idea was presented most clearly in his major philosophical work, The World as Will and Representation. In this work, life was described not as a peaceful journey toward contentment, but as an endless cycle of wanting, striving, and dissatisfaction. Desire begins early. A child wants attention, toys, recognition. Later, ambition grows: better grades, better opportunities, better achievements. In adulthood, desires multiply further: financial security, social status, relationships, success. Each new desire promises satisfaction, yet the moment one goal is achieved, another appears. Satisfaction never lasts long. A new want replaces the previous one, and the cycle continues. This constant movement from one desire to another creates a restless existence. According to Schopenhauer, happiness is not a stable condition but a temporary pause between 2 states of dissatisfaction. Modern society intensifies this cycle. Endless choices create endless comparison. Every success becomes visible, every achievement displayed. Instead of satisfaction, comparison produces tension. Someone else always appears more successful, more accomplished, more admired. This constant exposure strengthens desire rather than fulfilling it. The mind becomes conditioned to want more, not to appreciate what already exists. In this way, modern life amplifies the very mechanism Schopenhauer described centuries ago. The philosopher observed that suffering does not arise only from failure. Even success carries dissatisfaction. When a goal remains unattained, frustration dominates. But once the goal is achieved, boredom replaces frustration. This movement between frustration and boredom forms what Schopenhauer considered the basic rhythm of life. When striving dominates, suffering emerges from lack. When striving ends, emptiness appears. In both states, peace remains temporary. This explains why individuals who achieve wealth, recognition, or influence often continue searching for something more. The external world changes, but the internal restlessness remains. At the heart of this restless movement lies the will to live. Schopenhauer described this will as irrational and unstoppable, a force that drives animals to hunt, humans to compete, and societies to expand. It pushes individuals toward survival, reproduction, and achievement. Yet the will does not aim at happiness. Its only purpose is continuation. It demands effort, struggle, and repetition. Under its influence, life becomes a constant pursuit rather than a state of peace. This explains why restlessness appears even in comfortable conditions. Comfort satisfies temporary needs, but the will quickly generates new ones. Modern environments reveal this principle clearly. Endless entertainment reduces boredom temporarily, but over time, stimulation becomes less satisfying. New experiences must become stronger, louder, or more exciting to produce the same feeling. This process creates dependency on stimulation rather than contentment. The will demands novelty, not peace. As novelty increases, stability decreases. Despite this seemingly pessimistic view, Schopenhauer did not conclude that life was hopeless. Instead, he explored ways to reduce the suffering created by endless desire. One of the most powerful methods he described involved art. In moments of deep engagement with art, music, painting, literature, attention shifts away from personal desires. For a brief period, the individual stops striving and begins observing. The mind becomes absorbed in beauty rather than consumed by need. Schopenhauer believed that art offered a temporary escape from the tyranny of the will. In particular, he considered music to be the most powerful art form because it expressed emotion directly, bypassing logical thought. During such experiences, the cycle of wanting pauses, allowing a rare moment of peace. Another method proposed by Schopenhauer involved awareness, the recognition of how desire operates. Many individuals move through life without questioning their impulses. They chase goals automatically, believing each new achievement will bring lasting satisfaction. Awareness interrupts this automatic pursuit. By observing desire instead of obeying it blindly, individuals create distance between impulse and action. This awareness does not eliminate desire, but it reduces its power. The realization that satisfaction is temporary changes the relationship with ambition. Instead of chasing endlessly, effort becomes more deliberate and less desperate. The philosopher also explored a more radical path known as asceticism, a lifestyle characterized by simplicity and restraint. Ascetic practices reduce unnecessary desires and limit dependence on material satisfaction. While extreme forms of asceticism may not suit modern life, the underlying principle remains relevant. Reducing unnecessary wants reduces unnecessary suffering. When fewer desires dominate the mind, fewer frustrations arise. Simplicity strengthens clarity, and clarity strengthens stability. Schopenhauer's philosophy also addressed relationships in human connection. He observed that many conflicts arise not from malice, but from competing desires. Individuals seek recognition, attention, and control. When these desires clash, tension emerges. Understanding this dynamic encourages empathy. Recognizing that others are driven by the same restless will creates a sense of shared struggle. Compassion becomes possible when suffering is understood as universal rather than personal. The modern pursuit of happiness often ignores these realities. Many systems promise satisfaction through accumulation, more possessions, more experiences, more achievements. Yet accumulation alone rarely produces contentment. Schopenhauer argued that true relief from suffering requires reducing dependence on endless desire rather than expanding it. This idea challenges deeply rooted assumptions about success. It suggests that peace does not arise from possessing more, but from wanting less. Another important element of Schopenhauer's thought involves the acceptance of limitation. Modern culture frequently promotes limitless potential, the belief that any goal is achievable with enough effort. While ambition can produce progress, unrealistic expectations create disappointment. Accepting limitation does not weaken ambition, it grounds it in reality. When expectations align with possibility, satisfaction becomes achievable. When expectations exceed reality, frustration becomes inevitable. In the context of modern life, Schopenhauer's philosophy offers a different definition of strength. Strength is not measured by domination or accumulation, but by restraint. The ability to pause, to observe, and to resist unnecessary desire becomes a form of inner power. This power does not depend on external recognition. It develops through discipline and reflection. Ultimately, Schopenhauer's message reveals a paradox. The more intensely life is pursued through endless desire, the more suffering appears. Yet when desire is understood, moderated, and occasionally silenced, moments of peace become possible. Art provides temporary escape. Awareness provides clarity. Simplicity provides relief. These methods do not eliminate struggle entirely, but they reduce its intensity. Across generations, the persistence of dissatisfaction suggests that the problem lies not in circumstances alone, but in the structure of desire itself. The cycle of wanting, achieving, and wanting again continues unless consciously examined. Schopenhauer's philosophy does not promise constant happiness. Instead, it offers something more realistic, the possibility of reducing unnecessary suffering through understanding the forces that drive human behavior. In an age defined by speed, stimulation, and comparison, this perspective remains strikingly relevant. the search for happiness often becomes more exhausting than the problems it attempts to solve. Yet when desire is recognized as the source of restlessness, a new direction becomes visible, not toward endless acquisition, but toward measured living. Within that restraint lies the possibility of quiet stability, a rare form of contentment that does not depend on constant change.